I'm not sure whether the younger audience today will appreciate as much, but people like us who have been forced to go by trains for over long distances, right, really appreciate the speed at which you're going, right? If you're going from, say, Delhi to Varanasi. Actually, two states where I really see the impact of the infrastructure boom in India has also been I mean, obviously it is Uttar Pradesh, so as a state it is Uttar Pradesh, and then also you have other states where there is a big difference that it is happening. Like you go to Bhubaneswar, you realize the kind of infrastructure that has been created for all the hockey matches and other sports events which they held. The distance taken from Bhubaneswar to Puri, which used to be about 2.5 hours earlier, is about 50 minutes now. So some of these changes which you see in infrastructure, but largely I'm going to read from a lot of, going to do a lot of reading from an article in The Economist talking about the amount of infrastructure that is changed. I have personally experienced a change in some parts of Uttar Pradesh, but he is talking about taking a train from Delhi to Varanasi. Or Varanasi to Delhi at and the train traveling at 130 kilometers per hour. This is a very good speed. By international standards also, this is a very good speed at which you are going. Is it as fast as a bullet train? No, but you may not need that kind of speed when you're, of course, the faster you go, the better it is, but still amazing work is happening in India's transport. I think largely the government of this BJP government believes that road, rail, airports are going to contribute much more than what is invested in them, right? So last so many years, lot of investment has been happening. You can see the visible changes happening in road. Now with Vande Bharat, you're seeing the impact that it is happening on railways, and 100 airports will be operational soon. I do not know where we are, maybe we are at 70, 75. 500,000 aircrafts by 500 aircrafts by Tatas, and 500 aircrafts likely by Indigo, right? So which means about 80 billion plus 80 billion, 160 billion in aircrafts alone. That's the kind of money that is going into investing in India, right? So investing in infrastructure in India. Am I giving full credit to the BJP government? Whatever, whether you're a BJP supporter or you're not one thing you can't deny is the 1.8% or close to 1.8% which is going to be spent on infrastructure in 2023. 500 new Vande Bharat trains. Of course, it's going to be a great opportunity for the Prime Minister to go all over the country, cut ribbons, do his speech for the 2024 elections. But all criticisms aside, there is absolutely no denying that the roads and railways and airports in this country are now looking up a far cry from where we were, say, 10 years ago. There is no denying that. I mean, smaller cities like Chandigarh have got a lovely airport. Every place has got a good airport now, right? Goa has got a better airport. Why am I saying getting? Goa has got a good airport. So all small places, big places, definitely there is infrastructure push. Like I said, 1.8% in the infrastructure spending. Real genuinely high speed lines, there is no doubt. I have traveled by one Vande Bharat train, genuinely good quality of train, place to sit, and they have done one thing, they have taken you from an ordinary train to an express train to a Shatabdi to a Vande Bharat. The price also is I think more than double the price of a regular, it's higher than your Shatabdi. I'm not sure whether it is higher than Rajdhani, but it is definitely higher than Shatabdi. So they have pushed you to a premium segment. The food is okay. I'm not too much a fan of railway food. So from the painfully 25 kilometer per hour to 130 kilometers per hour, that's a big change. So we are also talking of the bullet train coming between Bombay and Ahmedabad. We are talking of roads which will take you about 10-12 hours from Bombay to Delhi, which means also the the Bangalore-Mysore road, which I've actually used. It's again amazing. So a lot of money and effort is going into infrastructure spending. How does it help? Well, when you put up so many roads connecting, say, Pune to Nagpur, fairly obvious that on the way you will find motels, you will find decent places to eat, decent places to stay, a decent loos, which will encourage more people to travel using their own cars. Fuel prices may not go up so high. There is a lot of prosperity in bigger cities. Railway corridor is likely to increase. At least the targeted thing is from 27% of freight, which is now with the railways. They're planning to increase it to 45%. The amount of money that you spend on logistics, the government is trying to bring it down. These are the ways how your cost can come down and you can get more competitive for exports. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but definitely increase in the number of hotels, increase in the number of people employed in such hotels. Even places like Puri, the number of hotels which have come up on the beach is not funny, right? We still don't have huge hotels with 300, 400 capacity. Two are coming up, so which means it will become a better conference destination than many others, right? I was speaking to a person who is on the board of a PSU, and she was telling me that now they are holding meetings of the PSU in different locations. So just imagine if the meeting of any company, you take a BPCL, or you take a BHEL, or you take Larsen and Toubro, or Reliance, if it is held in a small town, what happens is the whole paraphernalia of people going. Let's say Larsen and Toubro flies down 17 directors to Puri. Then you will need 17 rooms. Then the company secretary, infrastructure, all those people going there, they will occupy rooms, they will use plane tickets, right? So then they will also give a feedback to somebody, because there will be some government nominee who is saying, oh, this was missing, that was missing. So the civil aviation ministry will hear it straight from their own colleagues, right? So this kind of feedback will go. So I think a lot of things are being done to boost tourism. Hotels are coming up, infrastructure is happening. Roads are very good, cars are available, Ola and Uber is available every place. So you land in Guwahati, you land in Bhubaneswar, doesn't matter. There is an Ola boy, young boy, 18, 20, 22, coming to you cheerfully, taking you to the hotel. Around that place, if infrastructure improves, there will be lesser pressure of those people coming and wanting to seek work outside. So all these things I am able to see, and I think those state governments which are working along with the central government, that's why I picked up Orissa, which is not a BJP run government, right? It's not a BJP run state, but they are doing a lot for the infrastructure and adding to the effort of the central government. So you could do that, or you could sit in crib and say nothing is happening, right? So nice to see state governments along with center working towards better infrastructure. The amount of road that is being added is about 10,000 kilometers a year. This is not funny, this is huge. We were at something like 380,000 kilometers of road in 2014. We are now at 729. Let me repeat this: 381,000 kilometers in 2014, and now 729,000 kilometers. This is a phenomenal thing which has happened, and many of us have already experienced these roads. I have friends who regularly used to go from Bombay to Bangalore or Pune to Bangalore, and they have all shifted to going by road because it's really fast. You can do the whole journey in 10-12 hours from Pune, maybe 8-9 hours, which is perhaps the amount of time that you would anyway take even if you are traveling by plane. Maybe you take 6 hours by plane and 9 hours by road, completely within your control. So that is happening. People are traveling by road. Definitely the state level leaders. Then you have, I mean, I can't do a talk on infrastructure without mentioning Nitin Gadkari. Mr. Nitin Gadkari is doing a great job. So much of work happening in every city that I go to. I see work happening on the metro, right? So Nagpur is of course what is called the god of Nitin Gadkari. So there we went by the metro right from the starting point to the end point, and it's there is a point where you get down and go to the airport. bang opposite. You can actually get on from the station and walk to the airport. So some of these things are happening. Some Chennai, last 4 visits I have traveled by the tube, by the metro to go to the airport, and I have not yet traveled away coming from the landing in Chennai. I have not taken a metro, but I've almost always reached Chennai airport by the metro. It's a convenience thing. Delhi, it's easy to reach by metro. So Bombay new airport, I'm sure, will be connected by metro. So all those metro links, all that happening. Mumbai's metro is likely to be operational by end of 2023, maybe 2024. Lots of it will be operational. Some of it is already operational, but maybe completely operational by 2026. So infrastructure thrust. Maybe the election campaign of 2024 will be thrust on infrastructure. I'm not very sure, but definitely, and if economists say some good things are happening, I'm sure some good things are happening. Almost all kings like to be known by the infrastructure that they created, and there is nothing different from prime ministers, right? So let us look at the 50,000 kilometers of road added in the last 7-8 years, which is perhaps double of what has happened in the previous 20 years. The number of operational airports in India today, civilian airports, has gone up from 74 to 148. Earlier I said 100 airports. It's 148 airports are operational. Can you imagine 148 airports? Even if 3-4 planes are parked in each airport, some of the airports would be more. That means you're going to have so many planes flying across. I'm sure if more and more people fly to US, then you will not need to go to Doha to get your immigration check and all done. You might be able to just get your US immigration check and walk out of the airport in the US when you land. Some of these possibilities do exist. The need to go to the Gulf to break your journey may not be there. You may be flying direct, right? So big aircraft would be there. Maybe you'd go somewhere for refueling, but it may not be compulsory for you to get off, right? So maybe more direct flights to US, more direct flights to Europe. Maybe there'll be more flights even to the Gulf, but definitely a death knell for some of those guys, completely dependent on the fact that India did not have great infrastructure. The number of airports has gone up. The domestic passenger numbers have risen from 60 million in 2013 to 141 in 2019. 60 to 141 is more than double. And I am not very sure, I don't have figures for 2022-23, but I think we may have crossed the 2019, which is the pre-COVID peak, right? COVID of course took its toll. The number of conferences etc. have not really gone up to the pre-COVID level, but yes, it is happening. A lot of activity is happening. A lot of doctors conferences, MFD conferences, chartered accountant conferences are happening. So yes, new aircrafts, new airports, new roads, new rail, completely infrastructure oriented. Vajpayee started the Golden Quadrilateral. He connected the Delhi, Calcutta, Mumbai and Chennai. Then he also started work on the rural roads. It is not as though Manmohan Singh didn't. Manmohan Singh in fact empowered the roads ministry. But the kind of effort that Narendra Modi has put by sharing data across 16 ministries, the kind of effort that has gone in. I mean, I've never done a macro video ever, because I don't really pay too much attention to what is happening in the macro. I don't get carried away by interest rates changes, interest falls and all. I do occasional videos, but the one just on infrastructure, it is just amazing kind of work that is happening and the kind of impact that it is going to have on the economy. Yes, it is a long-term thing, but I think by 2030 we would have just reached the number of aircrafts would be, I mean, just to put things in perspective, US has something like 7,500 aircrafts, right? We are nowhere near that figure. Will we reach that figure given our population? No, because we don't have too much of a population willing to buy those kind of air tickets. But given the growth rates which we have, yes, we will have more aircrafts. We will have You have, imagine GE wanting to, GE saying we are going to manufacture our engines in Hyderabad. That's not come without much, without political effort, right? So why do they come here? Because they believe there is a market. You will have forget what the US says about India, forget what is their political stand, look at their economic stand, look at the number of American companies investing in India. India is too important for America. India is too important even for China. Do you think China, Galwan is going to be a issue with $100 billion deficit in trade between India and China? China will not attack India. I'm not saying from any other point of view, but simply from the economic point of view. Would they want to attack India, create a mess? They know to what extent they can go. So I don't see that as a big geopolitical problem. So the kind of effort that this our ministries are putting in, typically Narendra Modi has come with a chief minister thing saying, okay, these are the impediments which happen to me, I will make sure it doesn't happen. So those states which are joining the center in creating better infrastructure are going to benefit. Tourism is going to benefit. Does it mean you should buy tourism shares? I'm not getting into any of those dialogue, but I do think great things are happening in Indian infrastructure. Thank you.